Welcome back to Iron Anchor Cycles, or I guess I should say welcome back to the channel, but not exactly to the shop, because obviously we are in the truck and we are on the road in Pennsylvania on the way to go find another bike. We're not exactly on the road, actually. We are sitting at a gas station, if you can see that, and that's one of my Pennsylvania favorites there, Sheetz. So I actually recorded an intro for this video when I first left this morning, but realized when I stopped that for some reason the audio wasn't working. I didn't remember to bring my camera, so I'm just doing this on my phone. So maybe it was something with Bluetooth or CarPlay or something that made it not work. But in any event, I'm about halfway to where I'm going to go find this bike. And you know, the big, I guess, reveal is it's not a Dyna. I'm doing something a little bit different. I've just had an itch to do a project that I haven't done in a couple of years, and I just want to do it again. So I'm excited to show you what it is, and I'm excited to get into it. Obviously, you can see we don't have the trailer attached, so maybe that gives you some idea of what I'm going to get. Just going to put the bike in the bed of the truck. But maybe that's a clue, maybe it's not. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to keep trucking along here, and I'll check back in with you guys and let you know. Well, I guess if anything comes up that's worth filming or talking about, I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll see you when we get there. So hopefully we're going to have a bike pretty soon. So stick around. All right, well, we are cruising along, I guess. Picked kind of a crappy day to go and do this. Well, it's not so bad now. It was snowing a little bit this morning, and you can see it on the ground here, but it's actually a beautiful day now, and sun's out, it stopped snowing, so I am making good progress. So we're headed to somewhere near like Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is about 4 hours from me. Just to make the trip a little more interesting, there's kind of two routes you can go. There's like a northern route, and then there's a southern route. So I'm gonna make a big circle. I want to cross 84 and down 81 to get there, and on the way back, I'm gonna kind of go down, I guess, to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and then up that way. So, you know, just try and make 8 hours in the truck. Like I said, a little bit more interesting. So, any guesses so far on what we're going to get? I don't know how much I did or didn't give away in the thumbnail of the video, so maybe you figured it out already. But I'm excited, and I guess, like I said, we'll go get the thing, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it. But who knows? Maybe you'll see the bike and you'll know right away. I don't know. But anyway, let's keep going. All right, well, after some notary kerfuffling, we've got ourselves a bike. So I got it back there, I got it strapped down. I'll probably stop along the way here at some point just to check the straps and everything, and maybe I'll show it to you then, and you can see what we got, and I'll kind of tell you a little bit about it. Maybe you can tell what it is from right there. I don't know. If you haven't already made your guess, make it now. Maybe you can tell what it is. I don't know. If you look closely, you probably can. But the seller was great, super nice guy, super easy to work with. It's always, you know, a crapshoot doing stuff on Facebook Marketplace with, you know, scams and nonsense and whatever, but totally, you know, regular dude, nice guy, and was happy to find out that I was also a regular, normal person. So we did our transaction at the price we agreed on, and well, I got myself a bike. So I'll tell you a little bit more about it when I stop, and I'll let you see it. So stick around. All right, so I know I said I was gonna stop and check on the bike, and I'd let you see it at like a gas station or something like that, but I'm not gonna stop. I'm just going straight through back to the shop. This route, I tried to show you a little footage of it. The way down to Pennsylvania, the northern route, was a beautiful drive. Could have stopped anywhere. Was really just pretty pleasant. The way back which arguably, I mean, not arguably, it's faster because it's a shorter distance. But the reason I didn't do it on the way there was I know this route and it sucks. Coming across Pennsylvania and then into New Jersey, it's ugly, it's more congested, there's nowhere to stop. I mean, every exit or whatever that you see, it's just a mess of just New Jersey roads and nonsense. It's not rural and, a nice place to pull over. So I just didn't want to get off the highway. There was just congestion. I had to work my way through, I wouldn't exactly call it traffic. I mean, I was moving pretty well, but I just didn't want to lose my place in line, if that makes sense. You work your way through a little, a little nonsense. You don't want to get off and have to do it all over again. At least that's just me, because I'm a weirdo for driving, I guess. So anyway, I'm only about 35-40 minutes away from the shop now, so we're just gonna head back and I'll show you the bike and give you a little info on it when we get there. So stick around. All right, well, I made it back to the shop. Bike is in one piece, so is the truck, for what it's worth. And if you guessed that I drove 8 hours to go get myself an 883 Sportster, then you were correct. And if you'd like to know why I drove 8 hours to go get an 883 Sportster, there's a real simple answer to that. It's because I'm an idiot. In truth, I do have a good reason for it, but in reality, I think it probably is just because I'm an idiot. So in any event, we'll talk a little bit about the bike and what we're gonna do with it, but the first thing I wanna do is start to get it unloaded, and before I do that, I gotta put some air in the rear tire. Let me show you here what I got going on. So obviously I didn't bring the trailer because I figured that this bike would just fit real nice in the bed of the truck, and well, that was almost true. So I kind of had an idea of the length, and I thought that I might have to open the top part of the tailgate here to get the fender and the taillight to clear, which I did, but I didn't really think it was gonna be that close. So I couldn't get the tailgate to close with air in the tire. So while I was at the guy's driveway, once we got the bike loaded into the truck, I pulled the valve stem core out to deflate the tire, and then I was able to get the tailgate to close. So I gotta put the valve stem core back in and then put some air in the tire, and then we'll be able to get it out. This is actually the first time I've ever really used this, I don't know what GM calls this, like the Multi-Pro, I think. First time I've ever actually used this for any real function other than just like as a seat or a step. Not sure if this is what they had in mind, but it worked. So obviously I could have driven home with the tailgate open. I wouldn't have been super enthused about that, and I also would have had to tie down the ramps because they're just sitting there. But obviously, I mean, they wouldn't have fallen out. They didn't move from where they are, but obviously you can't go down the road with them just sitting there. So anyway, enough of that. Let me put some air in the tire, and we'll talk about this little gem that I picked up here. Problem. Can't get the tailgate to go down. I don't know, maybe enclosing it like this, put so much pressure on it that the latches won't release. I really have no idea. I don't think it's because this is open. Button's not working. Wait, maybe this button? I don't know what I just did. I think that's the top one. Yeah, that's the top one. That's a problem. Well, if it is because of all the force that's being put on it, I can reduce that force by taking the air out of the front tire. I didn't want to do that for the transportation because it would make the bike more unstable, but now that we're here, well, I'll give that a shot. I have no idea what's going on. So now what I want to try and do is maybe I can get this to go in further. Actually, I wonder if I turn this handlebar, if it'll roll. Nah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Well, maybe I can pull it a little tighter. All right, that's about as tight as I can get those. All right, we took the pressure off back here. So this should open now. Still won't. I don't know what's going on. Ugh. I have no idea why this won't come down. Tire's not even touching it anymore. I don't know if maybe I like jammed it. All right, well, let me try and figure this out and I'll be right back. All right, so I did a little Googling to see if I could find the issue, and I can't really find what I'm looking for. A lot of people have issues with this top part not opening, but the main part seems not to be a problem. However, I think I might have found the answer, and if this is the correct answer, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, which is that I might say somewhere, again, I'm not sure if it's right or not, that you can't open the large tailgate if the small tailgate, if the outer is open, you can't open the inner. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but obviously I can't close this, so how am I supposed to open this? I don't really know what to do, so what I'm gonna try is I'm gonna try and turn the bike. I'm gonna try and drag it over so that hopefully the fender clears. Obviously I can take the tail light off, but I'm really not trying to remove the rear fender with the bike still sitting in the truck. I guess I could, but I'd really rather not. So let me see if I can muscle this thing around. It's just not gonna be super easy because it's got all that tension on the front end, which is, this is just not great. So I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed with this truck one way or the other. I don't care if it's a design feature or if something's broken. This truck's a pain in the ass. All right, let me see what I can do. All right. So the bike is out of the way of the tailgate now. Let's see what we got. You've got to be kidding me. What if I couldn't move this? Like, what would I do? This is, I can't with GM. I really can't. All right. Now that I got that open, let me get this straightened back out and undo the ridiculous tension on here. And then we'll put some air in the tires and we'll keep moving. All right. Now, we should be good to go. I gotta put 2 valve stem cores in and we'll put some air in these tires and then we'll hopefully finally be ready to roll. Seemed like a good idea at the time. All right, I got that done. Now I'm gonna have to just pull the truck forward so I can put a ramp on it to get the bike out. I just wanted to put it all the way in so I could close the door because it's still cold out, but don't have enough room back here. So let me open the door, pull the truck forward, take the bike out, and then, well, we'll take a look. You get a better view of what we got. I think the tailgate might be too high. I think the angle might be too steep with how high my truck is. Might have to do something else, but let's try. All right, well, I am definitely worried about the angle of these ramps. I feel like there's a chance it might bottom out. And I'm here by myself. And so if this bike bottoms out on this ramp, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be stuck. So when I loaded it, they had a hill we backed up to and we kind of, flattened out the angle. I don't know what to do here, truthfully. Like I said, I really don't want to get stuck. I do have a spot on the other side of the parking lot I can go to. I won't be able to film it because it's dark outside, but that might be what I do. So let me think about it. We'll be right back. All right, we're going across the parking lot. Right over there. Actually, the camera might work out here. So we'll try it. All right, so the lighting is pretty bad out here, as I thought, but hopefully we'll be able to see. Should be a lot lower, a lot less of an angle there. So let me get set up and I'm gonna take it out. I'm not gonna be able to film it. I didn't bring the tripod, so I'll catch you when I bring the bike back into the shop. Finally. All right, well, everything you just saw took place on Saturday, and it's now Monday morning, and I really just needed to get some rest and then come back fresh because that really took a lot out of me. So it was about 8 hours in the truck going to get the bike, and then 2 hours or so of trying to get it unloaded with all that nonsense with the truck. So I'm fresh, I'm good, and now we can talk about why I actually bought this bike and what my plans are with it. I'm pretty excited about it. So I guess, let me start at the beginning. I guess for me, I kind of have this running list in my head of just kind of bikes that I want, right? So, just random things, either call them for the collection or just projects I want to do or whatever it might be. Most of them are Harleys. There's kind of other stuff that I've got on the list of, hey, that might be cool. But I have kind of had the itch to do a particular project, and it's something I've done before, but not exactly. So basically what happens for me is every couple of years, I get the itch to do another chopper. And I don't know what it is about it, but I will kind of get this inkling. I'll see them, either, photos on Instagram or, out at shows or stuff like that and go, yeah, like a chopper, that'd be cool. And I'll get all psyched up into it and I'll spend, a couple of months or a year or whatever it is, building a bike. And then by the time I'm done with it, I wind up kind of hating it and not wanting it anymore and wind up selling it. So I've done, I think, maybe 3 or 4 of them at this point over the years. The first real bike build I ever did was an Ironhead chopper. That bike's long gone now, but the most recent one I did was a shovel head, and that was actually, I did that during COVID. So, lots of time to do nothing and just be indoors. And I'm sure a lot of you were doing, projects and bike stuff for that period of time as well. So it was really right before I opened the shop. I spent kind of that winter of COVID building a shovel head motor, which was a lot of fun. And then, kind of once I got the shop open, we opened in 2020. So when I had some downtime, I was working on the frame and, kind of getting the rest of it built. And by the time the bike was done, I actually did like it, but I really never got the chance to ride it. I just needed the money. So we were opening the shop. I needed to, be buying equipment, tools, inventory, whatever it was. So I just had to let it go. I would have loved to just let it kind of just sit around and be like a cool kind of artwork, sculpture kind of thing for the shop, but that just didn't work out because, like I said, too much money wrapped up in it. So what brings me to wanting to do another one is, of all the ones I've done, I've never done an Evo Sportster chopper, and I've always kind of had that idea in the back of my head. Obviously, this is nothing revolutionary. It's probably the most common one there is at this point. But what I like about it is 2 things in particular. Number one is Evo Sportsters are just super reliable. You don't have the, nonsense issues of iron heads or shovel heads or any of the other bikes. I mean, even Evo big twins are, can be a pain. These bikes, you build a chopper with an Evo Sportster, the thing is pretty much just gonna run. There's really not much you can do to break a Sportster. So reliability and the fact that it's just turnkey and easy, and you can kind of just let it sit there, and if you want to go ride it, it's just going to start. I mean, my other Sportster, my dirt tracker bike, flat tracker bike, I never pay any attention to that thing, and I'll go over there. All the batteries on my other bikes will be dead. That one just fires right up. So that's one thing. The other thing is the price. They're so cheap to buy Sportsters now, and obviously there's people out there trying to get $5,000, $6,000 for their Sportster, which if you're one of those people who's got a Sportster you're trying to sell, I'll tell you right now, your Sportster is not worth $6,000. Sorry. Even if you've put a whole lot of money into it, even if you've done some kind of a build on it, it's a Sportster. No one's gonna pay that much money for it. And the reason is because you can find other ones that are so cheap. And clean, nice examples like this one, and I'll get to what I paid for this in a minute, but yeah, you're gonna wind up spending way more. I mean, by the time I'm done with this, I'll probably be into it for $6,000, but nobody thinks about that when they're buying a bike. So, you see a Sportster that's got work done to it and somebody goes, oh yeah, I bought the bike for $3,000 and I put 2 into it, so I want 5. People are like, I'll give you 3. And that's just how it goes. So the idea of wanting something cheap, obviously, just because spending less money is always nice, but the other reason is I feel like it'll cause me not to feel like I need to sell it. And hopefully that makes sense, right? So this bike is gonna get finished. It's not gonna get ridden a lot. I don't have time to even ride like my other bikes that are, nicer. I'm really trying to just build something that I think is gonna be cool, fun to just, maybe go out and grab lunch or something like that, tool around a little bit, take it home one day, kind of a bar hopper type of thing, if you will. But something that's really just gonna sit in the shop and just look kind of cool. And knowing that it's really not gonna be worth anything when I'm done with it makes it so I don't feel the pressure to sell it if I need money for something, or, you know what I mean? I wanna, hey, I have another idea, let me sell a bike so I can try and, finance something else. A Sportster is just never gonna be worth anything, which means I won't be pressured to sell it. So I'm hoping this is one I wind up keeping. So that's the main kind of driver for why I've kind of had my eye on Sportsters. There is another factor here though as to why I bought this bike, and it has to do with really actually what we just did, which was the giveaway on, I'm looking at it, I'm sorry, I'm pointing over here, you can't see it. The 03 anniversary, 100th anniversary lowrider, which I have also on my list of things that I've always wanted, in addition to an Evo Sportster chopper as a project I've always wanted to do. A bike that I just want to have around is a 100th anniversary bike. I don't really have a specific, or didn't have really a specific one in my head of what that should be. I mean, look, in my heart of hearts, if I could pick one and just have it here as part of my, permanent collection, I mean, it'd be a DX, right? I mean, like, I'm a Dyna guy, I love DXs, an 03 DX, DXT, you know what I mean? That would be the one, but it's just too much money. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can find them, they're out there. I mean, I think I found 1 or 2 for sale in the last couple months, but you're looking, $10, $12, $14,000, particularly for a clean one. And I don't know, about all of you, but I don't have that kind of money to just plunk down on something that I don't really need or plan to do anything with. So it's just always been in the back of my head of like, let's find a cool anniversary bike that I can just have. And then while I was looking, kind of browsing Facebook Marketplace, looking for flip bikes and stuff like that, I came across, this was actually not the first one I came across. I came across another 100th anniversary Sportster that was a little closer to home than this one, but it wasn't in really good shape. It was pretty beat up. And it kind of gave me the idea of, hey, I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. I can get an anniversary bike that'll be a keeper, and get my Sportster project and roll them into one, and I can make kind of a chopper that almost, in my head, I have a vision of what I think the final product of this could look like. I'm sure it's not unique. I'm sure people have done exactly what I'm thinking about doing before, but I can't really find any photos of exactly what I'm trying to do. A lot of people have done different elements of what I'm planning, but nothing putting it all exactly together. So I have this notion of like, keeping it as simple as possible, just like, your typical chopper mentality, no gauges, no switches, no hand controls, none of that stuff. But at the same time, excuse me, I'm choking. At the same time, kind of in my head, it's like, hey, if Harley built a chopper for the 100th anniversary, this is kind of something that it could look like. So the 100th anniversary part is going to be sort of subtle in that there's really not much that's unique about these bikes other than the tank, and it's got a little badge on the side of the motor. The badge on the side of the motor is key because obviously we're keeping the motor. Ultimately, the tank is, it's a peanut Sportster tank, so theoretically I could keep the original tank. The problem with that is they just don't have quite the right lines for a chopper. It's got these round bottoms on it. Whereas like a flat bottom tank will just look a lot better, if you lift it up or don't, whatever it is. So I want to maybe replace the tank with one that's going to look a little bit better for what I'm trying to do, but I want to recreate the 100th anniversary livery, if you will. So use the badges and see if I can get this, this pinstripe or whatever you call it here, and make it look like it was an original 100th anniversary tank, even though I want to change the actual tins. So we're getting kind of into the weeds here, and I don't want to get too specific in terms of like the specific plans I have for what I want to do. Ultimately, I just wanted to talk today about kind of what the plan is for this. So I'm going to do a 100th anniversary Sportster chopper. And the idea is to keep it really simple, and I will film this. I'll do this as like a YouTube series of, we'll get the bike on the lift, we'll cut it in half, we'll get the hardtail put on, we'll start figuring out all the other little pieces. In truth, doing these Sportster choppers, it's not a lot of work. Let me put a big asterisk next to that. Doing it the way I'm gonna do it, it's not a lot of work. You can spend 1,000 hours and an unlimited budget customizing and making from scratch and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, narrowing your triple trees and shaving forks, and I mean, you could do anything. You could remake the whole frame out of stainless steel. I mean, like there's a limitless possibility of what you can do. Just because it's a Sportster doesn't mean it's inexpensive to work on it. I don't mean that. I mean the basic simple bike that I want to build out of this is going to be fairly simple to do. It's going to require a lot of little things, and we'll get through it along the way. I mean, it's not just building the Sportster, but it's making sure everything works and all of our systems are good. I mean, the little stuff I've noticed, the bike is in really good shape, but it's got basically no front brake. So like little things like that are, kind of tangential to the project of building the Sportster, but like you got to fix the things that are broken and going through and do all that stuff. So this is obviously a little bit different than what I normally do on the channel. We're normally more kind of performance oriented, definitely Dynas, M8s, road glides, things like that. This is different. This is something different, but hopefully you guys will kind of enjoy coming along with me. And to be fair, some of this is going to be new for me, some of it's not, so it'll be kind of a learning journey for everybody. Like I said, I've done it before. I've done 2 iron heads, a shovel head, and then I guess I got kind of halfway through a project on another bike. But so this is maybe the 4th one, maybe the 5th one, depending on how you look at it, that I've done. But like I said, I'm certainly no expert when it comes to the chopper stuff. So I'm excited to kind of get into it. I guess, I completely forgot to tell you about this bike specifically. I told you I would tell you how much I paid for it. So, and also I can tell you what the bike is, I guess, too. I'm looking for Sportsters, browsing the web, trying to figure out what the kind of going rate is and whatever, and finding Sportsters in the, for cheap is easy. But again, a lot of them might not have the things you want, and a lot of them might be pretty clapped out. So for me, the big thing, and like obviously it being an anniversary bike was like an additional layer of like, that's what I decided I wanted to do because I found this one. But let's ignore that for the moment. Basically what I was looking for was a bike that's clean, and really what I cared about in terms of clean was clean here. The motor is basically all we're keeping, so if the other stuff is messed up on it, it doesn't really matter. So basically clean here, not a bunch of oxidation or corrosion or oil all over it. And this motor is pretty clean. A nice to have but not necessary is I much prefer the raw aluminum engine covers over the chrome. So that's what I got here, which is cool. And the reason I like that is because the chrome tends to, well, let's put it this way. If either one of them get messed up, if you've got any oxidation on the aluminum, you can fix it. You just polish it and you can bring these covers back. If that chrome starts pitting and chipping, it's ruined and there's nothing you can do about it. So to me, the aluminum is easier to restore than the chrome stuff is. So clean motor. Would have preferred if it had mids on it rather than forwards, but that's not a big deal when it comes to Sportsters. Dynas, there are really no good aftermarket mids, and the people who have the OE ones are charging a premium for them because they know they've got something unique. Sportsters are not the case. The original ones are super easy to find, and just about everybody makes repops of them if you can't or didn't want to use original ones. So you're basically looking at spending like $200-ish, and you can put mids back on one of these. So really not a big deal for mids. Another big one is mag wheels, and I say that not just because I do think mags are what I want to put on this bike when it's done, but it's more about buying and selling smart. So if you want a Sportster and you're going to do a chopper, I'm trying to say this correctly. Even if you want to run laced wheels on it, buy a bike that has mags and sell the mags. Reason being, these wheels all by themselves are worth at least 600 bucks, maybe more than that, depending on the condition. But a set of sealed bearing 13-spoke mags, easy 600 bucks, basically as long as they're in runnable condition. So I paid $2,000 for the whole bike. So that 600 bucks, if you wanted to sell them, brings your cost down by what, like 30%? Like that's crazy, 40%, whatever it is. It's a great thing to have that you could sell or use on another bike if you didn't want to run them on the bike that you were buying. And then to go and get yourself a set of laced wheels, I mean, God, you could probably find a set of those for 100 bucks. I mean, or make your own, or do a spool wheel in the front, or whatever. All the other wheels are easy and cheap. The mags are worth something, so buy a bike that's got them on it and sell them if you're not going to use them. So mags was a big one, clean motor. That's really it. The only other thing is, and you see a lot of people do choppers with these, is this is an 883, it's not a 1200. Obviously, anyone would prefer to have a 1200 over an 883, certainly I would. But it doesn't really matter because number one, 883s, they go real cheap because they're 883s. People tend to want more for the 1200s, but meanwhile, to do a 1200 kit on this is crazy easy and not super expensive. But I've actually got bigger plans than that, so I didn't really give a shit if it was an 883 or 1200 to begin with, because we're gonna do something way better than either one of those motors to do some work on this, because not only do I want this to be a chopper, gotta add a little iron anchor horsepower into it as well. So I kinda wanna make this a little bit of a fire breather. So we'll get to that in a later video, but suffice it to say, this bike's not gonna be an 883 for long. So yeah, I mean, that's basically long and short of it. And I saw the photos of the bike, it looked really clean. It's not quite as clean in person as it was in the photos, or maybe as you see it in the videos, but I mean, what do you want? It's over 20, what was it, 2003? Yeah, so it's over 20 years old now. So yeah, it's gonna have a little dirt, little oxidation, whatever. Not worried about it. I think it might have tipped over at one point. There's a little damage to the grip here. There's a little blemish in the oil tank. There's a scuff on this turn signal. None of those parts are getting reused, so not concerned about that in the slightest. I really think this was a great buy. And like I said, for $2,000, how do you go wrong? I mean, honestly, even for $2,000, I could just take this exactly as it is, just wash it, polish it, and stick it up in the rafters and just let it look cool up there. It's a good buy, I think. If you think you could do something cool with a Sportster, I think they're a great way to, spend some time in the garage working on a bike if that's what you want to do, or if you want to learn a little bit. you know, these are great practice for before you start working on something more expensive or more valuable. Like, I don't know, if you're doing the chopper thing, start with one of these and then go get yourself a panhead or something like that. Or, you know, if you're not a chopper guy, you're like a, you know, regular big twin guy, start with a Sportster, do what you want with it, I don't know, set it up, learn how to do modifications, learn how to stunt on it, then you go get yourself a Dyna or a, you know, M8 Softail. These are great for that. They're not great, you know, bikes to, quote, learn how to ride on, and that's a topic for another video, but they are great bikes to learn how to, like, practice certain skills on, whether it's, you know, building, fabricating, stunt riding, chopper building, whatever it is. They're great because they're around and they're cheap. So anyway, I think that is going to do it. There's really not much to say about this bike in its current condition because it's not super interesting. It's just a stock Sportster. So I guess we'll end the video here, and hopefully the next time you see this bike, we'll have it up on the lift and we'll be ready to start taking it apart and cutting it in half.